We have some breaking news right now. The Trump administration is lying to you about the suspect in the National Guard shooting yesterday. The suspect had a CIA ID, worked closely with the Central Intelligence Agency in Kandahar in Afghanistan, and was vetted multiple times, granted asylum by Donald Trump this year. And yet there is this narrative being spread right now that this was somehow President Biden's fault, that he wasn't allowed in that he was allowed in the country without proper vetting. None of that is true. And I need your help to spread the word to get accurate information. So like, comment, share, and subscribe to boost this. And also consider subscribing to my Substack by clicking the link below, because there's bombshell news at this hour, even on Thanksgiving. Jennifer Griffin, who's a very well-respected reporter, says that the alleged shooter worked for the CIA in Afghanistan out of the Kandahar base, according to John Ratcliffe, who is Donald Trump's CIA director. The shooter was vetted before working with the CIA by the National Counterterrorism Center and the CIA. He was with the task force in Kandahar. During the Afghanistan withdrawal, the CIA airlifted, with the help of the United States military, many Afghan allies who had worked with the United States government and took special care of those who were badged and worked with the agency. They were taken to bases in Qatar and Europe, and then onward to military bases in the United States, where further vetting was supposed to take place. Having a CIA ID would have put him in the, quote, vetted category. Nothing in his background when he arrived in the United States on September 8th, 2021, suggested links to terrorism. This man applied for asylum in 2024 in December and then was granted asylum in April under the Trump administration. So here's kind of what happened there. This is from a nonprofit that works with Afghan SIVs like the individual. Essentially, he served in NDS-03, one of the elite counterterrorism units operated by the CIA with direct United States intelligence and military support. He was evacuated by the United States military in August of 2021 after the fall of Kabul. He then arrived under humanitarian parole, which was the temporary authority used to evacuate tens of thousands of American citizens, lawful permanent residents, SIV applicants, and at-risk Afghan partners. He was later granted asylum this year by the Trump administration. He had an active SIV application underway and had received chief of mission approval, but had not yet been granted lawful permanent residence. Instead, he applied for asylum during the Biden administration, but his asylum was approved under the Trump administration. Both his chief of mission application and his asylum application required review and vetting by the U.S. government, including the CIA. Asylum is a permanent status granted after reviewing identity and background checks, biometric vetting, in-person interviews, and assessment of individual risk and eligibility under U.S. law. Asylees can then apply for lawful permanent residence 1 year after being granted asylum. So he could have applied, I guess, next April. But this is not someone who just was an undocumented immigrant who came in from Afghanistan with no proper vetting and was let in by President Biden. That's not true. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This man was vetted more times than the average asylum seeker. He worked directly with the Central Intelligence Agency, had a CIA badge, worked directly with the government in Afghanistan, in Kandahar. And let me just tell you one thing. He had been working with the Afghan government during the Biden administration, but also during the Trump administration, during the first Trump administration. This is not someone who's just a random Joe Schmo off the streets. This is someone very well connected to the United States government. And despite all of that, the narrative being pushed by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. and Donald Trump's administration, well, it's completely the opposite right now.
Now, Sarah and Andrew volunteered. They came here to protect the people of the district.